The devils of the day are King Clancy and Brent Beeson and Eve the Rat. What do we want to tell you about these devils? These devils can beep 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 beep. We have a bright green color. Well, a blue pill, so Matrix blue pill. We know what that is. What does bright green mean? It's something to do with the great unveiling of the new earth. Because everything else, and you can watch my last little video about how everybody is bought into the black and white cars. And we watched 15 minutes and we saw 80% of cars these days are black, white, or gray. No, I think it's 90% of cars are black, white, or gray. 5% are blue, 5% are red, and I don't know, under 1% are other colors. But that kind of, it's a light green that we saw earlier that came by. Usually it says GFL on the side of the truck. Well, it's just revealing to us that there has been time for us to really understand the colors that are available to us from the palette of, vehicles. Pleasantville was a movie where people lived in a black and white and gray world. And it seems that, that is where Glenn Close, The Devil Wears Prada, has chosen to bring planet Earth as far as our color palette, black and white and gray. Why? I don't know. It has something to do with getting us to wear masks voluntarily. Because they put it on the internet that in their phony baloney history, slaves wear masks all the time. Why is it phony baloney history? Because we were born, into families of muggles, and muggles train us to be muggles, and muggles do believe in wrong things so much that that's what they really believe, so much that when you give them a movie like Harry Potter, they do think it's fiction. The way that wizards think. And when they laugh and they say, because Harry Potter's uncle is a nasty piece of business. GFL, there it is, green, that color of green, GFL, GFL. Well, that color is the one to pay attention to. Because it represents this unwell person that continues to tell you that there's some great change called can't help you out. Everybody wants to know if there really is nothing up there, because the flat earth people are going to say somehow that, we don't have a sky and we don't have space beyond that. It's an illusion. But you have those illusions when you're playing video games. In the old days, I played Quake or Doom, and that they did give you a sky, and it did look like sky for you, but it was simulated sky because it was just pixels on your screen. But, through the window, because there's a window, do you think that the cloud there is like, I don't know, what do you think it is? Is it up in space, or is it just pixels on a screen called the... under the dome? There's a dome up there, beyond the blue sky. Well, the blue sky is the dome, and at nighttime they project little white beams of light onto the dome, and that's what we see as stars. Because some people do say that that's the way it's set up, that the sun is actually a focus point, because light is coming through in parallel rays. Then it hits the dome and it bends and it forms a bright point of light, and that bright point of light is just like what you form if you get a magnifying glass, a handheld magnifying glass. You take it outside under noonday sun and you focus it, and you can get a very bright focus, and that bright focus is so hot you can burn wood. And then when I was a boy, I used to use that technique to, write script on pieces of driftwood. So that's what they're saying, that there is something up there. They call it the firmament. And the firmament focuses what were parallel beams of light into one very bright spot that we look at it. And from our perspective, we see a very bright light that we call the sun, that we are told is a star. But the flat earth people say, no, that is simply a focus point of light. And given the fact it's so bright, we can't use a telescope or anything to look into it. We just have been brainwashed to go with there is something called a star. But no. Which makes us even more puzzled when we try and figure out, okay, well, beyond the firmament, which is a great dome, an enormous dome. That's what they said in the Bible, I know, but let's go with it. Beyond the dome, what is there? There is light that is traveling in parallel rays or parallel beams. What else? That's all we know. And when those parallel light rays or parallel light beams hit the firmament, they focus into a very bright spot that is what we call that bright spot up in the sky. Is that inside or outside the dome? According to the way that I'm picturing it, it should be inside the dome. That bright spot of light should be inside the dome. Well, maybe the dome is even bigger than we thought. I don't know. Well, if the dome is focusing light, then the dome is concave or convex. I can't remember which one is which that creates that thing that we're looking for. You'd have to look it up. Convex or concave is the answer. Is it possible that Earth is indeed a tennis ball and there's a Dyson sphere of clear plastic around us, and we're in a glassy? A glassy is what you get at Christmas time. It's a plastic dome filled with water and Christmas scenes inside, and inside the water, if you shake it, you can get artificial snow. Is it possible that we are in the hermetically sealed box that is mentioned in the strange book, Beelzebub's Tales to His Grandson, by the Armenian mystic George Gurdjieff? Gurdjieff. Let me see. Gurdjieff. How do you spell it? Gurdgieff. I just wrote it out with my finger. Now, don't tell me I'm not good, because you tell me anybody that could, spell that, hearing it, a Gurdjieff. Anyways, that's the book, Beelzebub's Tales, and he did talk about strange descriptions of what we call, human people. Gurdjieff's book, well, it's Beelzebub, but, well, that's the devil. And his grandson, well, I don't know. Okay, to recap what we're talking about, we're putting everybody to sleep, talking about black and white cars, which represent traditional police cars from, the 1920s to the 1970s. That's a strange color car. Very strange. Unusual. Okay, well, black and whites were police cars. And you would have uniformed officers in black and white police cars, and they would have those red lights on the roof rack, and they would be equipped with a siren. Those would be traditional police calls answered by those black and white units. Cruisers, they sometimes were called. So if those cars are all black and whites, then those ones are going to represent police. So it means in the environment we have got a Stasi situation because 1/3 of the East German population was paid to spy on the other 2/3 of East Germans. They were, employees of the Stasi Secret Service. So is that the kind of police that we're talking about? These are the police that make you paranoid? Or are these police somehow, here to, represent, people who are, I don't know, policeful people? What policies are the police people wanting to enforce? The Coca-Cola policy seems to be the one, because we got Coca-Cola to answer that question. Now, the other time we got a 444 when a garbage truck went by. It might have been on my last video. Yes, my last video about reading the news by watching the traffic go by. Well, yes, because it's very much the Dao De Ching, I Ching, because that's what they do. You cast yarrow sticks or you toss coins to see what the state of the Tao is right now. And I'm going to tell you that this method I've used before, and, for me, it works. It's usually just getting the right verbiage that goes along to explain the story, and quite often I'm blocked by the devils who want to continue to drag on this attack on me, because the whole time that I'm talking to you, I am under demonic attack by evil. So then the question is, well, is the policy police that I'm experiencing here, because the devils are here with me all the time, is it for the devils to come to the conclusion that they are heavily tired by police presence? And that the black and white represents the fact that, there's nothing but police and, police here. Now it's just a question of, well, what policies are they here enforcing? For the perspective of where I am, and for the devils who are bedeviling me to see what the response of the universe is for them. And we got a stop sign on the side of that bus. Well, it's always going to be two stories that go. A low story, which is, the low men come up with to explain, what's going on. And then there's the high story, which is the story of, and in particular, who want to say, well, no, it's not that. You're a dumb, stupid asshole. So what story is the correct story? Well, the answer is, someone says none of the above. Okay, we're going to ask our panel. This is our panel. If I can get the panel lit up for you. I don't know. Something's gone wrong. I'm going to have to do the panel on my next video. Anyways, this is the panel, and for some reason I can't seem to get the camera to reset. So anyways, there you have it. The panel will be the start of the next video.